Oh, breaking news.
In game real time, it's hard to make that bang bang call 100%. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Sliders, your go to podcast for all things baseball. This week, which injury should we be concerned? Justin Verlander or Anthony Santander? We will talk about that on our Giants and Jays update, plus our curtain calls of this week. I'm Almar, and as always, I've got Armando here next to me. Let's talk baseball.
Let's go around the bases.
Around the bases.
Omar, earlier this week, the Major League Baseball, they announced that they're going to be experiment in the minors technologies for check swings, automatic check swings. What is your first thoughts on this?
It's great to see baseball continuing to move in the direction of expanded replay review, Armando. Like we've said before, umpiring is a human element of the game, and inevitably things are going to get missed from time to time.
Right.
But in those big critical moments, late innings, tight games, one missed call can completely change the outcome of the game. So having this extra layer of review is a positive step here, Armando. We'll see where it goes from here, but it's definitely a move toward more fairness and accuracy in the game command, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised on your take on this. I thought you were going to be hating it, but uh, for me, the old head in me, I don't like it. But the scar wounded Giants fan that I am from the 107 Giants win team 4 seasons ago, that the season ended on a check swing by Wilmer Flores when we face the Dodgers in the first round of the playoffs. That still haunts me. It hurts that it was to me and other baseball fans. It doesn't seem like Wilmer Flores continued to a 90-degree swing. It was a check swing, but they call it a strike, and our season ended that way. So I like that from that point of view, right? So that the game is growing, right? So, but I agree with you. Um, it's great that the game is moving this direction. Obviously, the automatic strike zone has always been a big topic that we've been covering it the last couple of seasons here. So yeah, I think it's a good direction to go.
Yeah, for old school people like you and I, so sometimes we don't like the technology, right? But it's the day and age we're in right now, so we better move towards
Yeah,
it,
we
even if we
gotta
like it or not,
adjust
right?
to it, right? We gotta adjust to
Yeah.
it. Uh, well, that's great. And it was already it's been tested as a Tuesday in the minors in the Florida um, minors league. So we'll see how this comes up if it moves up to the second double A or third or triple A. We'll see how long it takes to get to the pros.
Yeah, it might be next preseason, right? Like
Yeah,
the
exactly,
spring
right.
games.
Exactly. So we'll see where it goes. All right, Omar, have you ever seen a multi-millionaire be pouting, not having fun? Because
Well,
Juan Soto,
we might be seeing it right now.
yes, because Juan Soto has been come under scrutinized, under heavy attention because he something's wrong with Juan Soto. I'm not sure if you've seen him in the games, but he's not doing the Soto shuffle on the batter's box. He's not doing check swings, and when he's on the on deck circles, he is just not having that joy that we've seen Juan Soto in the last couple of years. What is your takes on this? On just Juan Soto this season?
Hey, Soto came up with a big hit against the Dodgers, right? So, and hopefully that's the
Yeah.
spark he needs to really get going this season. But look, that massive contract, we all know that he signed in the offseason. There's no doubt it comes with the big pressure, right? And in a market like New York, that pressure is amplified big time. So if you're not producing, you will get eaten alive there, right? So sure, guys, like Lindor, Alonso around him, and we know they're legit. But let's be honest, they're not Aaron Judge. So we were talking about that when he signed this contract. So that presence, it makes a difference whether the folks in Queens admit that or not, right, Armando?
Right, but like he played in New York last year, right? He was having fun. He was loving all that tension, right? So it's not like he's somewhere different, right? So I think it is a little weird. He's batting 241 on the season with 8 home runs, 23 RBIs. That's for Juan Soto and that massive contract. That's not good. That's not a good sign, right? So, but I do think his demeanor is different. I'm not sure what's going on. Obviously he's the only one who knows, but for him not to do the shuffle, right? Which
The
I
Soto,
like to
yeah,
see
the Soto shuffle.
the Soto shuffle, right? Um, for him not to do that, it's a little weird because but I think the contract has a big to he's the main guy now, right? Let's not forget the Washington when he won the World Series with the Washington team, that team was loaded. There was a lot of stars, and he right, so he didn't have to carry the team, right? So in New York, he didn't. He had to share the spotlight, and San Diego he had to share the spotlight, but not all the spotlight is on him, and he's not. I don't think he's comfortable with it. I think he's one of those players that he needs to
Yeah,
play with
well,
the other stars, right? But it's not like this. The Mets do have stars, right? So, but maybe not at that caliber.
yeah, true. But like we mentioned, that huge contract it comes with a
Yeah.
burden too, right? So, yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But it's not even a year one, and
Yeah.
he's struggling and he's feeling the pressure. Like wait for year two and year three.
Yeah, exactly, right. But I think the biggest thing is just his joy, right? He's always one of those players that brings the joy, good vibes to the games, right? Having fun interactions. For him, just pouting on the field and just on the boundary circle, that's a little off. So
Yeah. If you lose your excitement for the game, then that's different, right, Armando? It's like
right,
it'll
so
affect everything.
correct. So all right. So in another news, we have a injury update of one of our baseball stars. Red Sox new player Bergman hits the IL list. What's your first thoughts on this injury?
Another injury for the Red Sox player. Hey,
Hmm.
that's major news. They're starting to get it going now in Boston, but this injury keeps piling. I'm not sure. I haven't checked whether or not Bregman was missing time because he got injured as well this week. So Bregman and another guy falling into IL. That's I don't know what the Red Sox would do. They have the money to like go after
Right.
players in the market if they want to trade for players, but I don't know. This hurts for the Red Sox. You can't move Rafael Devers around the baseball now.
That's funny. Um, yeah, like I think they when they first pulled him out of the game, they said it wasn't serious, but now they're saying Alex Bergman said he made a comment. It's a significant injury, so Um, we'll see what happens. We'll follow up with it, but I think the happiest person is Rafael Devers. This he's
That's true,
he
eh?
he celebrated with 8 RBIs.
I know, yeah. it's saying right now that Alex Cora said right quad strain for Alex Bregman. So oh, Bregman's like, I'm just reading it right now. Bregman suffered the same injury in 2021. Cost him 50 games. So that's 2 months, right? So hopefully nothing serious, because even if myself, we hate the Red Sox, we hate to see injuries like this for
Oh yeah,
players, right?
exactly. You don't want the competitors, top players to go down, right? So as much you might despise them, but yeah, you're right. So all right, and with our last topic, we'll end it on a happy note. Um, Omar Acuna Jr. made his return, and with the grand spotlight, he delivers. He has electrified the city of Atlanta, the clubhouse, baseball fans around. He homer on his first at bat, first pitch he sees on Friday. He throws somebody at second, trying to stretch for a double. He throws him out, and then he follows up with a home run, another home run on Saturday. So he has 2 games, 2 home runs. What is your thoughts on his return?
Yeah, seriously, what a moment, Armando. It was good to see Ronald Acuna Jr. back in the lineup and to come out swinging like that, a home run in his first game back. So that's kind of the spark, like you mentioned, the Braves badly need. They've been missing that all season.
Yeah.
And you could just feel the energy shift, right, Armando? Staying healthy is the key moving forward for Acuna. So hopefully, is just the beginning of a strong second half for him and the Atlanta.
Yeah, it's like it's there's no rust. Like, I was like in first game, like there's no signs of rust. He just came up and almost on a mission, right? Like put some respect on his name, right? Or he has forgot about it, about me, right? So
Yeah.
he's I love it. I'm electrified, like just watching him, right? So, but this is why I said I think that the Braves are gonna struggle because of all the injuries coming back. Because they had a lot of injuries last season. They're gonna start up slow. They're gonna get some players back, and they're gonna get healthy, and they're gonna go on a run. So just like I predicted it. But so no, but this is great. This is great for them. Now I've heard some reports that they feel they can catch up to the Phillies, and they feel they can compete against the Mets and the Phillies for that division. So I like that mindset. Like when they're not settling for a wild card spot, they're after the division.
Yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight there in the
Yeah.
NL
So
East for
yeah. So I
sure.
love it. So I love it. So well, that is it for Around the Bases. If you like this content, please follow, subscribe. Thank you. All right, let's get into our curtain calls of the week.
Curtain calls.
Omar, I started off with my team of the week. I am going with California Angels of Anaheim. Um, Winners of 8 games straight. They lost yesterday to the Marlins, but as the last weekend, they sweep the Dodgers at the in the LA series, and they go on the road, a 4 game series against the A's, and they sweep that series. And they're one of they are playing hard for Coach Washington. I mentioned that earlier in the season. This team is just there's a different vibe on this team, and they're doing it without their star players. Their Mike Trout and other supporting cast are on the injury list still. They're doing it with a young team, young talent. I didn't know they had this much talent in the farm system, but there's a lot of rookies in this on this team. They're third in May with most home runs as a team. They're top 10 in runs batted in. Like this is unbelievable, and they're doing it with a bunch of no guys. And one of those players is Taylor Ward, 15 home runs, 37 RBIs on the season. Nolan Scuno, another no name, right? So they have the talent. We'll see what happens when they get their star players back or the veterans players back, and they can mix in the old and new. This is bright. After taking so many hits, the Angels, the future is looking bright and for the Angels.
Yeah, great pick here on the Angels, Armando. Winners of 8 out of 10. So who knew the Halos are actually keeping pace in the AL West here, which feels like spotting Bigfoot at a gas station, Armando. So I mean I mean every time we count them out, they sneak right back into the mix. Maybe this is the year they finally stay relevant past the All Star break. Maybe, just maybe,
Yeah.
hopefully, when everyone comes back, like you said, they can ride the chaos here, Armando.
And let's forget to mention, yes, you're right. All 4 games behind the Seattle Mariners for behind the lead, the division lead. So that's impressive to me. So
Yeah, again, great call for with the Angels here, Armando. And for my curtain call team of the week, I'm going with the red hot Philadelphia Phillies here, Armando. At the time of this recording, they've rattled off 9 straight wins and are looking every bit like the powerhouse we expected them to be. With their pitching dominating and the offense clicking, this team is firing on all cylinders. It's been a complete team effort, and that's why the Phillies are my team of the week, Armando.
yeah, like I agree with you. We touched a little bit last week on the Phillies, right? Uh, with their young pitcher, but like you said last week, for in order for them to keep up with the Mets and now Atlanta in the division, they're gonna need everybody um, playing at a high level to in order to compete.
Yeah, yeah. With Atlanta climbing now, and with Mets holding down the fort there, it's gonna be a hard battle there for
Yeah,
the
so
NL East title.
everybody's in, everybody plays, so that's a good thing, right? So for my pitcher curtain call of the week, I am going with Chris Bubik out of the Kansas City Royals. Uh, I had a chance to see him earlier this week when he just completely shut down the the Giants. He's left-handed pitcher. He is second in the majors with 1.47 ERA. Just nasty, very decisive pitching. Like you can't really tell his fastball versus changeup, his curveball. He has like 5 pitches on in his tool bag. 61 Ks in the season, 5-2 record. He's pretty much untouchable right now. Good for the Warriors to have this type of prospect and just weapon that they have in their rotation. So that is my pitcher of the week.
Now it makes sense why you picked Chris Bubik here. He absolutely dismantled your Giants last Monday. Last Monday, Armando. I see you now. I see you now.
Yeah.
this wasn't just a pick. It was a revenge flex. So great pick here,
Well, the thing is
Armando.
that
Saddle
I
bias.
I saw him firsthand against the Giants, but then when I did a little bit more research, he's been doing it to the rest of the league. I was like, holy cow! Like he's not just a one start against the Giants. He's very good. So uh, yeah, like 2 starts ago, he started against the White Sox, going 7 innings with 7 Ks, right? So that's impressive. So good for him.
Yeah, like I said, great pick against your Giants. It's hard to shut. Yeah, it's hard to shut down your Giants this
Yeah.
this year.
So
So props to Chris. For my pitching curtain call of this week, I'm going with Carlos Rodon. And just a quick disclaimer: this is not a Yankee podcast. I swear.
yes,
But
we haven't talked about them in a while, so that's good.
uh, that's true. But credit where it's due, Armando. Last Thursday, Rodon threw 6 scoreless innings against the Rangers and racked up 8 strikeouts in the process. The guy, the guy was locked in. he was a huge reason. He is a huge reason why the Yankees are sitting pretty at the top of the AL East right now. So yeah, I may need a shower after saying something nice about the Yankees, but Rodon is my pitcher of the week.
Oh, great pick. He's actually has been having he's climbing out the stats, and innings pitch and wins um and strikeouts, right? He's looking a little bit more like a vintage Rondon, so good pick. So perfect for my position player of the week. My curtain call player is Jacob Wilson out of the Sacramento A's. Rookie for the A's, shortstop, starting shortstop. He's one of the top players in average batting average, hitting 342 with 5 home runs, 27 RBIs. He's pretty much unstoppable to strike out. You can't really strike him out. He puts the ball in place. Under 196 bats appearance on the season, and he for a rookie and not cooling off, that's impressive to me. The A's are showing that they have put they have collected a lot of talent in the last couple of years. Um, so it's exciting to see one of those young talents get some national attention.
Yeah, Jacob Wilson of Sacramento A's of Oakland, Vegas. Honestly, at this point, Armando, it doesn't even matter what the team name is or where they play. So they got more locations than a touring Broadway show. But one thing that stayed constant this season is Wilson. So he's been quietly raking this season. So great pick here, Armando. You found the silver lining in baseball's most confusing franchise.
Yes, exactly. So, no, I actually wanted to pick him in a curtain cards of the week early in the season, but he was just like, oh, like no one really knows about him, but he hasn't cooled off. So I'm glad that I had a chance to pick him as my curtain card player of the week.
Yeah, and we need to get props to the A's. It's been tough few years for them. So great pick here on Wilson Armando.
Yeah.
So for my position player of this week, I'm rolling with, like we mentioned, Rafael Devers. After a downright brutal start of the season, like hide that sheet stat bad. Devers Devers finally found his swing again. Last Friday when the Red Sox absolutely obliterated the Orioles, the man went off. 2 home runs, like you said, 8 RBIs. That's not just a good game. That's a statement right there. And let's be
Yeah.
honest, that's how you protest when the team is asking you to maybe try a different position, right, Armando? Just go out there and hit bombs. So, like Devers, the picking machine, is my position player of the week.
No kidding. That's how you make a statement. That is exactly how you make a statement. You say like, now your star player is injured, and now let me show you why you made a mistake, right? So I love it. And so that RBI leader, Rafael Devers, right? He took over, like he has 48 RBIs in the season. So batting just under 300 for the season. So that's impressive. I think the biggest, I'm not kidding. I think the happiest person that from Bregman's injury is Rafael Devers. And so, but I wonder, does he go back to third base now after all this? So
It'll be tough because if he goes back to third base, and then what would you do when Bregman comes back and you're
oh
moving
man,
out again?
yeah, exactly. So, but let's not forget, last week he actually had a grand slam. So he's actually
Yeah.
he is making everybody forget about third base and the DH. He's just like he's made a comment like I'm happy now playing full time DH. So he looks comfortable. So that's good for him. So good pick.
Yeah, happy to see Devers hitting right now because like we mentioned earlier this season, holy crap, man. 10 plus strikeouts to start the season. That's terrible, but yeah, good to see him breaking now.
Yeah, so awesome. Well, that is it for the curtain calls of the week. Let's get into our Giants and Blue Jays updates.
Giants, Blue Jays.
Omar, for the Giants updates, let's start with Justin Verlander goes hitting the 14-day IL list. The Giants were very quiet. He was very quiet when it was announced last weekend. They didn't want to say too much. I guess like came out midweek that he has a pectoral strain. I don't know why they were so hush hush about it. He's an older player. Older players tend to get more injuries. Their Giants are saying this is just they're just being cautious, right? But I really don't like that they're being hush hush about it because it kind of shows like why are you being why it kind of seems like they're hiding something else, right? But as we know, older players, as soon as one string happens, other injuries tend to happen. So I think that's why the Giants are being cautious. They don't want anything else because Justin is really helping the team out, the young players. So, but the biggest question about this was who's going to take his spot. A lot of people are, well, does Jordan Hicks go back to the fifth man rotation, right? He just came on. But Giants announced right away Jordan Hicks is not going to. They're happy with him at the bullpen. So the next question was like, well, Kyle Harrison, it just makes the obvious choice. He was a starter the last two seasons, but we have a lot of young talent in um, a lot of young talent in the farm system. One of them, Whitehorse, he was the AAA player of the week. He's just having a great season, so we'll see if they call up anybody else. But Harrison took that. Kyle Harrison took that the the rotation as yesterday, so he took the loss yesterday. It was just one of those situations. He gave up two home runs and he gave up two runs in the first, and they couldn't bounce back. The bats went quietly, so we'll see. Hopefully, they bounce back today. And they go for the right now they're 1-1. They beat the Nationals on Friday, and then we took a loss yesterday. So we'll see how they bounce back, the Giants. But the biggest question, another biggest questions, bigger than the Justin Verlander going on IL was Encarnacion is coming back after the breaking his wrist in the spring training. Encarnacion, like I mentioned to him, he was having a great season. I mean, great season, spring training season, and he had a great fall season, making the roster. Giants were counting him to be playing first base and DH, so he's a big bat in the lineup. Well, he's coming back pretty soon, and the biggest question is what do they do with Wilmer Flores, who's playing first? What do they do with Lamont Wade, which I've been talking about him, um, and Luis Matos? Um, those I think pretty much Wilmer Flores is safe, but now brings the question Lamont Wade and Luis Matos. I think those two players, they run out of time. That's just pretty much plain and simple, right? So Lemon Wade has brought up his RBI. He is grinding now. He has brought his batting average to 175 compared to .98. That's a huge turnaround in the last 3 weeks. But the question is, what do you do? So this is the tough decisions that Giants are gonna have to make now because now they're having some players return. So I think Luis Matos is young stars. He's also, I believe he's in his fourth year of his rookie contract, so he's running out of options. They just can't be sending him back to AAA, right? So we'll see what happens. So what do you think of those first base situation with Encarnacion coming back?
Well, we'll start with your pitching here, Armando. Verlander hitting the IL. Honestly, not all that surprising. I mean, JV's at the tail end of his career, like you mentioned, and these little bumps are kind of expected at this
Hmm.
point. So hopefully, like you mentioned, it's nothing serious. I'm not sure why they're keeping it hush hush right now, but and yeah, hopefully he can come back soon to help your Giants. Because the rotations needs his steady presence here. But if you are asking me on who should step in, how's your Hayden Birdsong? Is he your fourth starter now? So
Yeah, he
that's my
took
question
over.
because he's
Yeah, he took over Jordan Hicks, right? So
yeah, so yeah, because I was looking at your pitching rotation and your pitching depth last night. So Birdsong's been dominant this season, right? So maybe you can have a 6 man rotation with Cal Harrison and who's this Jordan Hicks flipping
right.
back and forth
Yeah, that
on
is
that
true.
fifth
So
starter. Yeah, you can play around with it. So
yeah, at this point, we don't know if it's just gonna be a one star for Kyle Harrison or he's just kind of locked in for to be the fifth starter right now. Um, I think with the only thing with Kyle Harrison, he gets too fastball happy, and the first through the lineup is great, but then the second time the big bat, the bats, the offense makes adjustments and they just sit on the fastball. So he needs to he needs to throw other. First of all, he needs to get control of the strike zone, but he needs to start throwing other pitches out there to throw the bats off because he's pretty much predictable.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you're fastball happy when everything is not working, that's
So,
that's a recipe for a disastrous
yeah, and I
start, right?
think
So yeah.
that's been his downfall in the last two seasons with the Giants. He just gets too fastball happy because nothing else is working.
Yeah, and then to answer your first base issue, we were talking about this few weeks ago on our few episodes here. You can take out Wilmer Flores, not when he's hitting like
Oh yeah,
this.
he's pretty
So
much safe, right?
so yeah,
So
so basically when Wilmer Flores comes to DH or needs a break, so we Lamonte Wade, how much longer can we wait for this guy to hit, right? Like
yeah,
even if he's like starting to climb, you can't really wait around. We've been patient, like both you and I told this during a few episodes that we you can wait around, the Giants can wait around Lamonte Wade because you are winning right now. But
yeah.
if
So
you're winning, losing, or like you're on a losing streak, you can't really play around with your lineup anymore.
exactly, and that's a good point. And I'll jump into the next topic. You bring up a good point. How long should the Giants be patient? And I think the one player that the fans, uh, the coaching staffs, and the media have been patient enough with Willie Adames. Uh, with 200 bats right now in the season, you know which pretty much you know what you have. And I think for Willie, he's getting paid like a big star, and I think he needs to turn it around his season quick because he's batting like same thing like Soto. He's batting in the low 200s with those massive contracts. If the Giants want to compete and go on a deep run, come September, they're gonna need Willie to step up. So he needs to get it going because his patience has run out. Not in a negative way, but I think it's kind of like okay, it's you have a track record of turning around. I think it's time for that to happen now.
Yeah, looking at the stats right now for Willie Adames, 213 batting average. That's not gonna cut it with only
No.
5 home runs. But yeah, we I think we covered. I'm not sure if we've covered it with our previous episodes. Not maybe not this year. Maybe last year. San Francisco Giants ballpark. It's a pitching ballpark. We know that,
Yeah.
and signing there as a hitter, you need to know what you're doing, right? Because you might not hit a lot of home runs there. We all know that. So Willie knows that when he signed. So yeah, but the batting average is what's concerning. The home runs
Yeah,
will
it is.
come. The RBIs will come. The batting average is what's concerning right now.
What I think I think what they want is for him to get hot on the road, right? So, and that's one of the big reasons why big stars have been saying no to playing in San Francisco. Harper didn't want to play in San Francisco because of the ballpark, right? Um, he made it a point. It's like, no, that's I'm not gonna have the home runs, like the numbers, um, if I go to San Francisco. So. It's interesting, right? So Will is finding firsthand why stars have stayed away from San Francisco because of the ballpark. So, but I hope he has those kind of like better numbers on the road, right? Because smaller stadiums, indoors, right? So hopefully he can pick it up. So right now the Giants are on a nine game road trip. So hopefully and playing Florida. Indoor ballpark, so hopefully he can get it going because Giants need him badly. So, and then the last topic I'll cover the Giants. The Giants are 5-17 against left-handed pitchers. One of the reasons why I went with Chris Bubik out of the Royals because he completely shut down. The Giants don't have any left-handed batters. They only have like two or three. Uh, so when they have struggled against left-hander pitchers, starting pitchers. So the biggest question right now is like, well, that's a big gap, and they've been awful. Like out of 5 out of 17 starts, that's just not good. Um, so the biggest question is like, do they just kind of like ride it out? Hopefully they get hot, or should the Giants make a big trade? Because obviously they need something, a big left-handed bat in the lineup because they're being exposed right now. So right now, like the last couple of times when they opposing teams, they're just starting a left-handed pitcher and then they're just going with lefties out of the bullpen, trying to keep the Giants bat quiet, and it's working.
But how come this is just a weird start for the Giants if you're a heavy right hand if you're heavy right hander hitters and you're struggling with a left hander pitcher, that's odd actually to learn about
Yeah, it
that.
is.
But maybe it's time for Robbie
But
Ray and the Giants to have a simulated batting practice then, eh?
yeah, well, it's funny enough because of all the young pitching prospects that we have. A lot of the people they've been already were talking about the trading deadline and trading for a lefty bat, right? And one of those players in the rumors is trading Robbie Ray away for those for a left-handed. So I'm not sure if I like that because he's pitching really good this season, right? So, but anyways, that's a big hole, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, all the Giants want our top prospect at first base to come up, but he's too young. He's um he's in the Double A right now. He needs his at bats in the minors. So
Yeah, I don't think adding a lefty batter would solve your problem because it's a lefty now matchup. But well, you gotta start hitting. You're heavy right-handed, so
yeah, like it's
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 on the hitting
crazy.
coach. It's on the hitting coach now, so it's on the hitting coach. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm
so
not putting him on the spotlight, but come on now.
they only have like two left-handed batters in the lineup, and they have like couple switch hitters. So that's about it.
Well, we'll trade you Anthony Santander.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, Well, anyways, that's we'll see what happens if the Giants can fix those left-handed issues against left-handed pitchers. But yeah, I'll keep that up. But that is it for the Giants updates.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of mixed bag there. Well, mostly because we're still happy that we are still happy that the Giants are winning, but those injuries and some of the struggles on your lineup, that's not a good information right now because you gotta keep it up. We're glad that the Padres are sliding down the standings right now. They are struggling, but you have the Giants have to like take advantage of that right now, right?
Oh yeah, I agree. Like with when you have a because the Dodgers also lost 6 games in a row, right? And the Dodgers and the Padres they're on a losing streak, losing as well. So you have to when you face those teams, those you have to take advantage. You have to win those games, right? So not no jab at the Washington Nationals, but they're not a contender. If the Giants want to be a contender, they need to beat the Nets, right? So, but they're a young, talented team. Like, don't get me wrong, but good teams will figure out how to beat those teams, right? So, and the
Yeah,
Marlins, they're facing the Marlins, so on Nets, so they need to beat those teams.
yeah. You have to take advantage of the struggles of the Dodgers and the Padres right now. They're not gonna continue to struggle this time all throughout the year. So if you have the chance to keep winning games while they're struggling, you have to take advantage of those.
But you know, it's crazy because we're talking about the Dodgers. The Dodgers are having a weird season too. Like they have like completely opposites. They're like 500 record on the road versus like being at home. They're dominating at home, but they're just kind of like not putting it together on the road. So that's kind of weird um, stat.
Well, we're happy they're struggling on the road, right?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
care. I don't care.
Well, they were
Well,
so
thanks for that.
dominant last year, right? Like they were so dominant on the road and off the road last year. So to see that happen, it's like, oh, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, too many players. Too many players. Yeah, well, they will get more in the on the trade deadline, so I'm not
Oh
worried about
yeah,
them. So I'm not
I'm
worried.
sure they will. I'm
So
sure they will.
yeah,
So
like we said, not a Yankee and Dodgers podcast here. So
yes, it's been a while.
I know, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. So, thanks for that update, Armando. For your Blue Jays update here, it's time for your weekly roller coaster ride, aka our Blue Jays update here. The highs and lows of being a Jays fan were on full display this week. First, the good Armando. The Jays absolutely swept the struggling Padres midweek. Two shutout wins and a dramatic comeback in the extras. So, in game 2, they hung a 14 run. They hung 14
Yeah.
runs against the San Diego Padres like it was a batting practice. So, beautiful stuff there, Armando, when we were watching the Jays, but the weekend rolls along. They face the Rays, and just like that, the bats went back into hibernation after after clawing back to 500. The Jays remember they're allergic to momentum and slip right back under. So that's classic Jays right now this season. They're too inconsistent.
Oh
That's
man.
concerning. So yeah. So, but the more concerning stuff here, like we mentioned earlier, Anthony Santander is dealing with the hip inflammation. So, like Shakira once said, hips don't lie, Armando. Unfortunately, they've been telling us all season why he hasn't been hitting well. So we thought he was just struggling, right, Armando? But
Yeah.
there's this injury that popped up with the hips of Santander. Hopefully, it's nothing major, but it's really concerning right now after signing that deal in the off season. So we'll see. We'll keep monitoring Anthony Santander's injury
Well,
throughout this year.
that's a big one. If he's having like you need your hips, you need your legs and your hips in order to contribute at the plate, right? So I saw that with Wilmer Flores because Wilmer Flores has has been just a great story this season for the Giants. But last year he was dealing with hip issues and he just didn't have the power. He was in pain when he was at bat. Same thing as like everybody was like, what's going on? Like he's just injury, but you need your lower half of the body in order to be productive at the plate.
Yeah, because opposing pitchers will just keep pumping you fastballs after fastballs, and you won't be able to turn on those with the bad hip,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So,
So yeah, we'll keep monitoring. Hopefully, Anthony
well,
Santander
you
can get
saw
that
that
hip
with
good.
Brandon Belt.
True,
When he
yeah.
came, he had in the last couple of years with the Giants, he was dealing with the knee and hip issues, and he just could not turn, he could not turn on the fastball. And when he signed up for that year, with the Jays, you saw that firsthand, right? He went up and down like it was a roller coaster, right? When he was in pain, he couldn't turn on the fastball.
Yeah, he did. He did start well with the Jays, but he ended up doing well at the end of the season. But like you mentioned, that hip was a big problem
Yeah.
at the start of the season, right? So yeah, hopefully we get good news on Anthony Santander. And one more thing here, Armando, before I end up with the Jays update here. The more concerning one, we mentioned this. I mentioned this last week. Bowden Francis, currently the league's most generous pitcher, handing out home runs like Oprah giving away cars. Like he's now allowed league leading 15 bombs. It might be time for a little break and trip back to the minors for a pitching tune up. Yeah, cause if your pitching is you're the fifth starter right, well, not a fifth starter because it was Mad Max position, but they're relying on him to be a good, not great pitcher this year after a stellar end of the season last year. But if you're surrendering those home runs, there's not much you can
Yeah,
do.
you
But
cannot.
you
Yeah.
have to fine tune. You have to fine tune that somewhere else, right? Like at the
I think so
minors.
too. I think yes, because you don't have the time in um in the middle of the season. You don't have that time to work on those mechanics, right? So you need to go down so you can work on one, right? Because none of the rest of the coaching staffs have that when you're playing for the top club. So yeah, I think you're right. If he's the fifth starter, I think you need to try something new, right? Either put him in the bullpen and maybe do a bullpen starter, right? So, or bring someone else out of the AAA because, yeah, those are not good numbers. So,
Yeah, I think the Jays are waiting on Mad Max Tom to heal up, right? Because they're not too deep. They're not too deep in the pitching rotation area. So
okay,
even if we're suggesting to send Bowden Francis back in the minors just to like even for a couple of days, if couple of games, not couple of days, we might not have the pitcher to call up,
right,
right? Like. So we'll see, but it's been a roller coaster for the Jays.
yeah.
They win some, then they lose a lot of games. So it's just up and down so much. It's frustrating. So
But at least I know we talked about it last week, but I think Vlad has just he's on a different level right now. He's playing out of this world. So he's he definitely was he's gonna be having consideration votes for MVP like because he's having that type of season again.
yeah, we mentioned this. That $500 million. It's he's doing what he's supposed to do. So
Yeah.
good thing that the Jays and Vlad was able to come into an agreement with that 500 million, or else we'll be talking about him getting traded to your
Yeah,
Giants
it's,
this this early, right?
exactly. No
So
kidding.
yeah.
So,
So we're just glad he signed that, and like we mentioned, he's hitting what he's supposed to do. So it's just the other players in the lineup, they need to step up big time. And yeah,
Exactly.
I think we have found our third baseman on Addison Barger, a left-handed hitting young hitter. So we'll see how it goes. But he's been good when he was called up in the majors this season. So we'll see. But the Jays need to step up big time. Well, the other Jays.
Yeah, I like that third baseman. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
you
been
you
really
you, you
good.
need a
So,
you need a left-handed hitting, right?
yes. Oh,
I
that's
told
funny.
you, Duval.
Yeah. Oh no, he's last year's the ball would have been yes, but not this year's.
Well, give us
So
Robbie Ray, and then
yeah,
well, Robbie
exactly.
Ray. Yeah, so
That's awesome. Well, anyways, that is it for another episode of Saturday Sliders. Thanks for
yeah, thank you
watching.
again. Yeah, thank you again for watching. Next week we might roll up another curtain call of the week, plus our Jays and Giants update. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you back next week.